All right, Oval fans, hope everyone is doing well. We are talking The Oval Season 2, Episode 9, entitled Political Junkie. My goodness. So, before going forward in the video, please take a moment to hit that like button, hit subscribe, click the bell notification icon and select all. That way you don't miss out whenever I post new content on the channel, and follow me on social media. Links are in the description box below. I mean, it's that simple. Like, subscribe, bell, and links. So, I gotta say, this episode was better than last week's episode. It wasn't until like the last several minutes where I felt like this episode definitely jumped up to being very, very interesting, because for the most part, it felt kind of straightforward, like not too much happening. But when we got to those last few minutes, especially when Greg, got back to his place, it's like, oh damn, okay, this is good. And then the ending, I'm like, So let's jump into it. Originally, I was kind of bouncing back and forth between like a 6 or a 7, but just based on the shock factor alone from those final couple scenes, I want to give this episode a solid 8 out of 10. I do feel like it is more than it deserves. I think a 7.5 or a 7 would be the best or most appropriate score. But just the fact that those last few scenes has upped the game for me, because the way I really gauge an episode is how many discussion points I can get from it. Like if an episode is really good, I know I can pull like half a dozen videos from it. But just based on like probably a good 30 minutes of the episode, I'm like, there's really nothing to talk about. It's like everything is unwrapped. Everything is show and tell. There's not a lot to uncover. So here's where we start off. Max and Bobby. Max is trying to stop Bobby from being a rabid dog and just jumping out of the damn vehicle in order to go after Kyle, because he's just hooked on Lily. And there's that big bag, and it's like Max is like, that's not a body because it's way too neat, it's too clean. That's not it. And that leads to a question later in the episode, which I'll talk about. What's in the bag. Don't worry, I'll get to that part. So after back and forth, and I'm like, thank God they only spent like a couple minutes in this car, because last week it felt like we had 10 minutes of Max and Bobby sitting in there going back and forth about, are you going in there, man? What are you talking about? There's people on the roof. There's people in the yard. No, you ain't going there. No, I'm going in there. I'm ready to risk it all for her. I hate that they did this to Bobby. It's like the Bobby we've seen, hell, even in season 1 up until like a couple episodes ago, calm, cool, collected. He knew what he was doing. So to see him so just out of character, I didn't like it. Like, again, if you watch Falcon and Winter Soldier, then when they're undercover and Sam's phone rings and it's like, Sam, you have your phone not turned off in a situation like this in order to move the plot along. That's how I felt watching this scene. But basically they decide to split. Kyle left, so Max is going to go after Kyle. Bobby's like, well, I ain't going nowhere. I'm going in to check on her. So he's staying there for Lily's sake. All right, so then we go over to Laura, Norm, and Priscilla. Here's where the episode really pissed me off. We stopped at the last episode because I believe Norm, right? That's the name of Laura's husband. Wait, I think she said Gene. Miss Laura, did you say Gene? What's wrong? And then she passed out again. I think Norm said she kind of comes in and out like every hour or so. Norm's like, I'll call if there's anything that changes or if she mentions Gene again. I did not like this whatsoever. The fact that the episode ended on the cliffhanger. We wait an entire week and we don't get shit. I did make the argument in my live stream that the ending made up for this lackluster beginning. But I mean, I'm not saying I want characters to die off anytime soon, because we had enough of that. Not to mention we get another one later in the episode. But what I'm saying is, it's sad because if Laura had died, it would have been predictable, but it would have been like, oh, damn, Tyler Perry, you doing it again. You axing off another character to keep the mystery going. But I think that would have been more dramatic than her just fainting out again. But like, I got more to say on this later in the episode. All right, so Donald returns home. Lily's waiting. Them legs, though. So obviously she's cold towards him, and for good reason, because, she's asking, like, why did you choose me? If you're gay, just embrace it. The sad part is, I love you. Donald is trying to plead his case. Well, no, I don't love him. I love you. I heard what was going on upstairs. And she's like, look, you know what? You want to sit away from me? Don't come close. Remember, you tried to kill me, but I didn't. So they're loud. They're going back and forth. Bobby sneaks up in the background, so Lily jumps towards Donald and hugs him because this fool got the gun pointed out and everything. He's ready to blow Donald's brains out. I'm like, oh my God, this moron. But Lily, again, grabs onto Donald, hugs him and everything. No, we're okay. It's okay. Don't worry about it. So then Bobby sees what's going on, so he leaves, and she pushes Donald aside. So I thought that was pretty funny. But I'm like, I did not like how Bobby has been written. It's way too cliche for feelings to interfere with a mission, but to have him go off the deep end like this was so damn dumb. Okay, so from there we go to Richard ignoring Nancy while he's getting ready for dinner. He's getting all dressed up, he's smelling all good, tying his shoes, got the suit on and whatnot, and he's basically like, look, if you want me to stop ignoring you, just tell me who the father is. I can't do it. Well, I went down to the funeral home today. I wish you would have came. It would have made it easier. The funeral's tomorrow. And I'm thinking, so are there obituaries written for this funeral? Is the father written in the obituary, or is he just not? So, Richard just leaves. Sharon shows up and, notices something's really off between, I think, if I'm not mistaken, she notices like, oh, Mr. Richard, you looking great tonight. Oh, thank you. And then he walks off. Then Nancy, hi, Sharon. Then she goes back in the room. So her and Barry decide to talk. And thank you, everyone, for clearing this up. Sharon does say that it is her baby. It is his baby. See, here's the thing. I was confused as hell because I'm pretty sure the trailers said something different. I know that she says, this is my body. And then as soon as she's going down the stairs, Barry was like, well, that's my baby. So it's like, because I could have sworn that she said it's not your baby in one of those trailers, in the end credit trailer that is. But it must have been an inconsistency. But looking at the actual episode, she does say it is his baby. But she didn't say anything because she isn't sure what she wants to do. I honestly thought abortion because in the trailer it wasn't his baby. So I'm like, oh yeah, he probably wants her to get rid of the baby. That way it would not be Kareem's or his baby. Well, it wouldn't be his baby because it's Kareem's, but then finding out it is his baby, he wants her to have it. So on the flip side, it's like, you're not getting an abortion. And I'm not going to say my stance on if a boy's, because look, I'm a man, so I have no say. That's my belief. A woman's body, not to mention, I'm not the one that knocked her up. Barry did, so whatever. And I can take care of the baby. You can't take care of your own baby right now. Ooh, that was a low blow. That was a low blow. And to be honest, that really wasn't his fault. That was Nancy's fault and Ruth's fault. Barry, I believe he was a good father. All right, so from there, she is just fed up because they keep going back and forth. She leaves, and Nancy's like, do you need to ride anywhere? Where are you going? Don't worry. I'll call you if I need help. And she gets a car service. All right, then after that, we go to another disappointing scene of the episode. So Victoria's father calls and tells Victoria that Maude is going to be cremated, meaning that there's no need for her to fly out or anything. So this unfortunately confirms what a lot of us have been fearing. The funeral for Maude isn't going to happen. Pretty much she just got killed off, and that's the end of that. We're probably not even going to meet the damn father this season. Look, I know there's still the back half of the season, but just based on these circumstances, I think it's rather unlikely that we'll ever see him this season. And I feel like that's hella disappointing. So yeah, that really sucks. I believe one of the White House staff was, just trying to get some details from Victoria to finalize everything. Yeah, her travel plans, non-factor, doesn't matter because she doesn't need to go out anywhere. And she asks where Hunter is. Oh, he's in the Oval. Are you sure? Yes. Has Ellie checked out? No, ma'am. So she pretty much knows what's going down. So we have a brief Alan and Jason scene. This fool walking around with his dick in his hands. I'm like, Lord, if this was BET Plus. My first thought is, Alan better pray that Jason doesn't do to him what he did to that psychiatrist a couple episodes ago. But he puts it away and he's like, look, I'm only interested in women. And I love the hand sanitizer moment. I'm like, haha, Rona reference. Plus, it's like, when Jason gets up to open the door, he probably doesn't want Dick Hand on, his door, Alan. So honestly, I'm glad there's hand sanitizer, because remember when he came and threw it on that nurse, he just decided to turn around, wipe his hand on his notebook and get back to work. But thankfully, he cleaned his nasty ass hands. Turns out Alan wasn't shot because he has a brother with special needs. So, he's seen it all, so to speak. Jason's like, I don't have special needs. I'm not trying to insinuate that, but you're in the White House, man. It's great here. I don't know why you're so down about it. How about this? I schedule a tour. I show you around. I'm a political junkie. I could teach you some history. And I thought that was a nice moment, even though he doesn't know he's in the presence of a serial killer. But it's like he said, I think maybe you need a friend, and honestly this boy needs to be in prison in the electric chair, but whatever. So he decides to get up and leave. I mean, like I said, this fool was probably knocking on doors until he found a room with a woman in it to shock her with his dick. That's honestly what it boils down to, in my opinion. All right, so then we go over to Nancy calling Priscilla, trying to get information. Do you know anything about Richard? And she knows about the date with Frida, but doesn't know the restaurant. And Nancy's like, okay, well, thanks anyway. We go over to Ellie and Hunter. Apparently, she's been, ramping up the reports about Diane being crazy to really dispel her, epic mic drop moment at the end of season 1. She has some weed gummies in her desk. And, while they're about to, go back and forth while, Ellie's holding her own, so to speak, Victoria walks in and interrupts their little menage a trois. Wait, is that the right word? I don't know. It just sounded right. But she decides to go upstairs because Hunter, they just had their usual back and forth. Oh, she is the worst. And then we go over to Jason and Victoria, and she's not afraid of him. It's like, well, you should be. Kill your ass to bed. I don't know why. I was thinking the whole time, at least he ain't got his dick out. That's probably the only good thing about that scene. But we go over to Sam, and this is like, damn, Sam, why you got to do this, man? So he gets a phone call from Victoria because she's obviously shaken from the whole Jason thing. She wants to go for a run. Man, I don't care what her dad says. She should have taken that flight out. Hell, several episodes ago, it was like, well, I'm not going to stay here as long as this boy is here. Whatever. So she wants to go for a run. Now it's like, ma'am, it is late. It is not safe. I'm the head of your security. So I'll call somebody else. No, I'm the head of your security detail. So no matter who you call, if I say no, that's a no. Well, I can come back and we can have a walk around the ground. How about that? And I'm thinking, damn, Sam, because she's like, my mother just died. I'm sorry, man. But then he finally caves in. I'm like, come on. So then we go over to Priscilla, and he leaves a voicemail saying, baby, I got to go to the White House. I made you dinner. I love you. We'll talk when I get back. I'm like, great. Okay, just one moment. Got to flip my page here. We're almost done. Honestly, it's something else. I think this episode review for the Opal might be shorter than my review for Delilah. And like I said, that episode was probably the best of season 1 so far. All right, so we got Priscilla going over to Jean's place, and it's messed up, and she's surprised, which, to be honest, I don't know why she is, because Greg called her, what was it, in the last episode, and told her the exact same thing. She calls the police, and apparently, since she has to come in person to file a missing persons report because, less than 24 hours or something like that. So she calls Greg, and they kind of swap notes about everything. And it's like, hey, I'm going to file this report, and I'll come over to your place and meet you as soon as I'm done. So then we got Dale drinking in the back of his truck because, remember, he doesn't really have a place to stay. He just rolled into town, and the fact that he's from a small town, beat up truck, it's pretty obvious that he stands out. And he meets up with Kyle because Kyle, parks in the parking lot at his apartment complex. And they have a little back and forth. It's kind of funny because of the fact that you're an asshole. I know, but you're cute. So he's like, hey, you want to go up to my place to have drinks? Because I think that at first it's like, what, are you trying to rob me? No, just sitting out here taking a break before I go to a club. Oh, what club? Fabian's? Because after that, it's like, oh, he's gay, huh? So then, Kyle's like, okay, fine, let me lock up my truck. And it's like, oh, yeah, that's right. Because Dale's like, do you need help with that? Because Kyle has that huge bag. Here's my guess. I honestly don't know what's in the bag. Because I do know a couple episodes ago when Kyle went over to Donald's place and then saw Lily there, he did have a big bag with him. Because remember, he was supposedly moving in with Donald since Lily wasn't coming back. But then, of course, Lily came back and had all of Kyle's things in like a black plastic trash bag. So what if Kyle took all of the stuff that was in the bag and put it in his, carrying case, and then that's why it's so heavy that he's having trouble carrying it? That's my guess as to what Kyle has in that bag. Or possibly, the reason he came back to Donald's house that night and found Lily rummaging around the office is because he had some more stuff that he needed to get from Donald's place. That's probably what's going on. I don't think it was a body, because why the hell would Kyle take a body and put it in his own apartment? Because I'm pretty sure it would smell. That's just my guess. So there we go. So they go to his place for drinks. Max is creeping around and calls Bobby and lets him know about the whole Max situation. And he's like, "Oh, hey, call me, tell me where you are," because he's at his apartment. It's like, "No, I'm going to handle this myself." Max, I'm thinking, Bobby, you're the after everything you've pulled the past couple episodes, you're the last person to try to tell somebody to calm down. I'm not saying Max doing what he's about to do is the good move, but hey, he's going to do what he's going to do. All right, so then we go over to the date between Richard and Frida, and shout out to Frida. She knows her worth. It's like, look, you love your wife. Until you get a divorce, hey, this whole thing between us is closed. Now, you could make the argument because Richard's like, well, you've been flirting with me for years, but, well, you never responded because we're going through it right now. We're not going to make it. Well, until you don't make it, then you're not going. It's like, I want to make love to you. No. And Nancy comes up right at that moment and sits down. I'm like, Lord have mercy. And really, there's nothing really to say about this scene because of the fact that, Frida just shut it down. Like, there's really no need for a drawn out conversation. Frida just shut it down. She knew Richard was, she wasn't going to be a rebound. She wasn't going to be like a placeholder. Basically, she's not going to put her heart on the line because it's like, okay, so what's going to happen when you two make up? There you go. All right, so then we go over to Kareem's place. A few things. Number one, Kareem got a nice spot. Number two, this is probably the only Kareem scene so far that he hasn't been a complete asshole, and I can actually tolerate him on screen. And number three, the way Sharon said, "Shut up." Oh God, if you saw the live stream last night, I had too much fun recreating that scene. Shut up, from like her hand on Kareem's face and just just like smushing cake in his face, like what is it, like at weddings and reception, like the bride and groom kind of feed each other cake, and sometimes like one might smash the cake in the other one's mouth. It's like her whole thing was like shh, and then she put it. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm jumping ahead of myself. So basically, she comes in because she doesn't have a place to stay. Kareem's like, hey, don't worry about it. I got takeout. I got enough for two. Oh, maybe 2.5. It's like, it was kind of cringy because he really didn't know what to say. Like 2.5. You're having a whole baby. Oh, yeah, baby. Yep. But then it's like, what are you watching? Oh, I'm just watching. Turn it off. I just need silence. Oh, okay. Take your clothes off. Huh? Take your clothes off. Beg pardon? Why ain't you saying anything? Because you said silence. Get down. And they'll think like she slipped her heels off, then she got on top of him, and then I'm like, she's literally, I don't like Kareem, but he's obviously being used. Basically, Sharon is treating Kareem the same way Richard wanted to treat Frida. That's literally what was happening in this scenario. But with he was about to say, okay, when, because some people in the live chat was like, right, all I could think about was Genuine's pony during that scene. But, as soon as Kareem's getting it up and Sharon's like riding him, it's like, okay. So then she's like, shut up. No, I'm sorry, I didn't say shut up. Just, I can't. That scene, I'm done. That was hilarious. So what happens next is Greg gets back to his apartment and there's a girl in his bed and it's Jean's dead body. Guys, I'm fully well aware this is not my boo Ashley, aka Jean. The actress portraying Jean's dead body is not the same actress. Two things. Number one, the light complexion. She's a lighter complexion than Ashley. Also, I didn't mind it. I'm like, oh, okay, because, she was strangled, so lack of air, so her body being pale makes sense. But you could just tell at first glance. At first, I'm like, man, Greg cheating on Jean? He didn't deserve her. I'm like, oh, it's a different actress, guys. This stuff happens. It's just like the fact that Miss Laura is portrayed by a different actress this season. And it's like I speculated way back after season 1. And then when they started filming season 2 during the pandemic, I'm like, if Jean is dead, I don't think Tyler will have the actress who originally played her come back to season 2 only for like 2 little cameo scenes in the midst of a pandemic. I just feel like the people on set were people who would have lengthy roles as opposed to risking someone flying out to film like 1 or 2 scenes and then that's it. I said, if there's a body, it's going to be like a body double, somebody who looks almost similar to Jean, or a mannequin and the face is going to be covered the entire time. So in this situation, it's a different actress, but it is Jean. Just to put that out there. And then he calls Priscilla. Wait, hang on. Yeah. So he calls Priscilla, obviously freaking out for good reason. Priscilla, she's here. She's dead. In my bed. Oh my God, what's going on? Wait, what happened? How'd she get here? I don't know. She's dead. Greg, get out of there. Greg, get out of there. And the thing about it is, we hear it felt like some rustling on his end of the phone, or if his phone just got shut off, I don't know. But either way, Priscilla kept calling Greg, but he didn't respond. So then we go over to Dale and Kyle, because, Kyle, they were just sitting around listening to music, comparing where they're from and stuff like that, small town, yada, yada, yada. They're just, enjoying themselves, drinking, listening to some music that's pretty generic Tyler Perry composed music, so he doesn't have to pay royalties. And Dale steps outside for a smoke, and Kyle goes to the bathroom, and while he's draining the lizard, Max comes in like Stewie Griffin beating the hell out of Brian. Where's my money, man? You gonna get my money? Where's my money? Remember, Kyle is drunk, but this fool is holding his own. He's sobered up pretty damn quick. So Kyle and Max are fighting. Final scene of the episode, Priscilla rushes into Greg's apartment and finds both him and Jean dead in the bed. That rhyme was not meant for comedic value. I'm wondering, just like everyone else, what the hell happened? Did he off himself like a Romeo and Juliet situation? Or was somebody else in the apartment and killed him and then got out before Priscilla was there? Because we know nothing happens to Priscilla based on the next episode preview when she's driving and calling for Sam to answer the phone. So if there was someone who killed Greg, they left before Priscilla got there. But when she gets there, his body is laying up right on top of hers. So Jean and her boyfriend are both dead. Holy shit. I know somebody in the live stream was like, well, Jeremy, the mid-season finale's in a couple episodes. Who's going to die? I don't give a damn about the mid-season finale. People dying left and right in this show. And somebody else made a good point. This would have been a great mid-season finale episode. So there we go. All right, guys. Well, that's all I have for this particular video. I just want to double check, make sure I covered everything. All right, guys. Well, thanks so much for tuning in. Make sure you like and subscribe. And if you want to donate to the channel, feel free to do so on PayPal or Cash App.